Okay, here are two more example problems on simplifying a square root that has both integer and multivariable components. So this first example I made up, we're going to treat this as the square root of 27 times the square root of x to the fifth y to the fourth. Now, the square root of 27, we want to look, does 27 have a perfect square factor? Yes. 9 goes in 3 times. The square root, take the square root of the perfect square part. The square root of 9 is 3. So the square root of 27 is 3 square root of 3. Now let's move to the multivariables. Remember the trick, if it's one variable, two variables, or 100 variables, you want to ask yourself how many times does 2 go into the exponent? So how many times does 2 go into 5? It goes in twice. Will it go in evenly? No, because it's odd. So therefore I'm going to circle that variable because I know there's going to be a remainder because it went in twice with a remainder of 1. Now I move to my second variable. Okay, how many times does 2 go into 4? It goes in twice. Is there a remainder there? No, it went in evenly. So there is a remainder with the x's, so I'm going to write an x underneath the square root. That leaves me with this multiplication problem. So I just want to, you don't really have to multiply anything, we just want to write everything that's out front of the square roots together, and then write the 3 and the x under a single square root. Here's another example. 48, the square root of 48, x to the 8th y. So 48, does 48 have it? Well, let me first break this up. Okay, so does 48 have any perfect square factors? It has multiple. 4 goes into 48, but 16 goes into 48. So I want to use the greatest perfect square factor, which is 16. The square root of 16 is 4. So the square root of 48 is 4 square root of 3. Now let's move to the variables. So once again, I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 2 go into the exponent? 2 goes into 8 4 times. Then you ask yourself, is there a remainder? No, there's not. I'm going to cross it out. We're done with the x's. Then I want to look at the y's. How many times does 2 go into 1? It doesn't. 2 can't go into 1. If you want to think of it, it goes in 0 times. I could write y to the 0th here, but 0, anything that is 0th power, we learn with properties of exponents, just equals 1. So it doesn't make sense to write a number 1 up front. So we said 2 does not go into 1. So yeah, if you think about it, there is a remainder of 1. So we bring that down. We can't simplify it. You can't simplify any exponent unless it's 2 or greater. Any exponent of a 1, you'll never be able to simplify. You just bring it down in your answer.